Hello and welcome to the new format called Lone Magic. This is a game of Magic using standard commander rules against your favorite YouTubers, your friends who can't be online at the same time as you. It's designed to be done, using videos. So the rules are effectively to do 100 points of damage as quickly as you can using your deck. And so what I will be doing is playing a standard game of Commander Magic, and I will be pausing, giving you time to pause and take your turn. I will be keeping track of how much damage I've done, and you should do the same and see if you can beat me. Thank you for watching this first video. First game, my commander is Grub Storied Matriarch. Useful in a general Goblin commander game. However, for this game, not fantastically useful. Right, so first turn, let's take my cards and we'll see what we get. This deck hasn't been specifically created for this format, so there's going to be a lot of stuff that's not needed. First card, Swamp. Lovely. Okay, at this point you should pause the video and it is your turn. Draw your cards, shuffle your deck, lay your first turn out. Keep a count of how much damage you've done, should you have a crazy deck that does damage in the first turn. Now for my second turn. Draw a card and see what I can cast. Very little at this point. Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! Right, some people will get the reference, some won't. But now again is your turn. Pause the video, take your turn, and then unpause. Okay, now for my next turn, I draw. Get a land card that isn't super useful. Only gives me black mana unless I've got a mountain, but I don't. So I'm kind of stuck at the moment. Right, your turn. I really should have some kind of pause music. Boom. Ba-da-ba-ba. And that's far enough of that. Okay, time to take my next turn. So this is a black-red deck, but mostly I'm pulling black mana, so I'm stuck with what I can cast. Here we go. First card of the day is Mirror Crown. So that effectively, whenever you attach that to something, if you were to create a token, whatever you create whatever that is attached to is what that token becomes. So that's useful for the other side of Grub, my commander, but currently, as is, not 100% useful. Okay, now once again your turn. I promise no more singing. Okay, now for my turn. Let's see what cards we get. You'll notice quite a bit that I will draw before I untap. I realise this is incorrect. It's one of those little quirks I try and get over. Okay, for my first card, it is Mud Button Curse Tosser. As an additional cost to this spell, behold a goblin. Well, my commander is a goblin, so a goblin is beheld. This creature can't block. When this creature dies, destroy target creature an opponent controls with power 2 or less. In this format, even if that creature were to die, I could not kill any of your creatures, so we just put it down there as a goblin. Okay, that goes down. Let's cut out some thinking time. Bloop. Okay, for my next card is the Aspect of Gorgon, a simple +1/+3. Not massively useful for what the text is on there, just simply makes that creature one more powerful. Okay, once again your turn. Now for my next turn. And the only thing again I have to do is attack. That's the first 3 points of damage. And so once again it's your turn. Now for my turn. I draw. Unfortunately, there's nothing for me to do, so I attack again. Okay, my next turn, draw a card. The problem at the moment is I'm a bit land stuck, but hopefully I should have some options. Okay, untap. Once again, did the drawing first. Tapping 1 for Reaper's Talisman. So in this case, the Reaper's Talisman is only useful because it does an extra 2 points of damage whenever I attack alone. I realise at this point I forgot to pay the attachment cost, but I have plenty of mana to pay that cost. And so the next thing to do is just to attack with it. So that's 3 damage from the creature and 2 from the talisman. Now it's your turn. Right, now for my next turn. So I untap, I draw, then I untap. And luckily I can cast something. Not fantastic. Creature called Heirloom Auntie. Useful in a normal game where creatures are dying all the time and being resurrected. However, in this game it's simply a 2/2 Goblin that I'm just going to place on the field. A little more thinking about the cards I've got. And then the only thing left to do is attack for another 5 points of damage. Right, now hopefully you're understanding how things are working. Now it's your turn. Okay, and now for my next turn. Once again, draw and untap, because that's what I do. Now edit out thinking, thinking, thinking. Okay, after considerable thinking time, tap 3, 4 for Champions of the Weird. As an additional cost to cast this creature, you must exile another Goblin, and because Heirloom Auntie wasn't actually achieving much for us, we will be getting rid of her to have a 5/5. Okay, and the next thing to do is attack for another 5 damage because we're attacking alone. Okay, and for my next turn, drawing a card and untapping as is standard for me while having a good think. So the card I will be casting is Venom Crawler. This is a very useful creature when you're anticipating lots of deaths, which this Goblin deck is about killing and reviving. So this will get a lot of +1/+1s, but right here, right now, it's 2/2 creature. And so, with that on the board, the only thing left to do is attack with everything that can attack. So that's 3 damage from that and 5 damage to that, doing 8 damage in total. The idea? My next turn. This time I remember to untap first, prior to drawing. It's almost like I haven't been playing this game for 30 years. Okay, draw. Anything special? Thinking. Nope. Attack. 8 damage. Right. Draw before untapping as always. Lovely, another swamp. That should allow me to cast something new, but you never know. Thinking. Tap, 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 tappity tap, 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 tappity tap. And the Great Unclean One. A lovely creature which does a lot of damage and summons creatures for every opponent with less health than you. However, in this particular instance, he is just a damage dealer. And then with that on the board, the only thing left to do is obviously attack with everything. Okay, that's 10 damage from that one attack. Halfway there nearly. Okay, and my next turn, forgetting to untap as always, editing out vast quantities of thinking time. I nearly take my next turn until I realise I'm meant to be attacking. So untap everything, and the moment it's all untapped, tap it again. So that's a total of 14 damage. So now we're up to 61 damage in total, and I wonder what damage you've done to me at this point. So it's going to start rolling quickly. Also remembering that on my end step, the Great Unclean One does 2 damage. Okay, now for my next turn. Lovely, finally some red mana. Draw, then untap, as is my want. Let's rearrange a little bit. Right, so finally we've got some red mana. So let's tap that red mana and conjure up Dropkick Boomer. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. That is the main point we need from this. To the end of turn, another target goblin you control gains flying. Not massively helpful in this format. Okay, and now the only thing left to do is attack. However, things are starting to get a bit complicated for me now, so I'm having to manually count out things. But in total, this adds up to 16 damage. Okay, starting to come into the end of this game now. The damage is racking up. I wonder if you've managed to kill me yet, prior to when I've killed you. So this land enters tapped, not that useful. And after contemplating briefly, we remember that the Great Unclean One has an end step damage. So we'll just add those 2 points of damage on, and we're even closer to the end now. And let's think about our cards. Remember, put in the comments below this video, put in what turn you killed me on, how much damage I'd done to you by that turn. And let's see what we can cast right here, right now. And so the card is War Effort. Creatures you control get +1/+0. And whenever you attack, create a 1/1 red warrior creature token. And as you remember, Mirror Crown Mind allows us to copy some creature whenever we create a token. So we are going to attach that crown onto the 7/6 Goblin up there, meaning we do, anytime we attack, we actually create one of those goblins who can attack as well. So that's 14 damage just from that one creature. And so if we attack with everything, we are looking at tipping over the scales with that 14 taking us up to 95. That one I'm looking at the moment does 5 damage on its own. So adding everything up, yep, 2 of those, that's it. So that's up to 14. So we will put the final scores in. So that was 30 damage in total, putting us up to 111, tipping over the 100 points and ending the game. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope your game came to a faster conclusion and you killed me before I did. This deck wasn't the greatest for this kind of thing, but I don't want to change the decks up specifically to kill as quickly as possible. That seems to defeat the purpose and enjoyment of the game. As I say, in the comments down below, let me know what turn you killed me on, or if you didn't. Thank you for watching.